Welcome to Tita Talks. My name is Tita Popolo, and I'm your host. It is a great privilege and pleasure to welcome Dr. Doni Wilson. Dr. Doni is a naturopathic doctor, certified professional midwife, and nutrition specialist. She has more than 2 decades of experience helping patients improve and heal challenging health conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome, anxiety, stress, and autoimmunity and fertility issues. Dr. Doni developed her signature proven stress recovery protocol, which identifies how stress uniquely affects each individual. Stress can create havoc in one's life, and in fact, can cause disease and major chronic health conditions. And today, we're talking about Dr. Doni's book, Master Your Stress, Reset Your Health, the personalized program to calm anxiety, boost energy, and beat burnout. And the healing power of wellness, a self-care tool for you. Welcome to Tita Talks, Dr. Doni.
Thank you so much for having me, Tita.
Such a delight to have you. We are currently experiencing the greatest global transformation of our lifetime. This grand transformation permeates the well-being of every aspect of humankind. Wellness and self-care is at the forefront of this paradigm shift. And in 2020, the global pandemic created a seismic shift in life as we know it. What are you most proud of having achieved with your book, Master Your Stress, Reset Your Health, the personalized program to calm anxiety, boost energy, and beat burnout?
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for asking me. And I mean, I'm just so happy to be able to share this message that it's possible to recover from stress because I think like you mentioned, we're more aware of the stress we've been experiencing, all of us, and we were all in this experience of stress together. So it's very different for all of us around the world to be like, wow, how is stress affecting us? And people I think are wondering, what am I going to do? Is this going to, and afraid, how is this going to negatively affect my health and my life? And so I wanted this book to be a message of hope that you can recover from stress. There's so many tools we can use. There's so much we have at our fingertips in terms of helping our bodies recover from stress. So that's what I feel most proud to be able to share.
You identified 5 unique stress types in your book. What are the 5 types?
Okay, so the stress types, these are the main 5 patterns of how we respond to stress, because the key is that we don't all respond the same way. Even though we're all humans and we all have in the same pandemic stress experience, that doesn't mean that we all have the same effect inside our bodies. And really that effect is based on cortisol and adrenaline levels, and we can talk more about that. But essentially the 5 stress types are based on the variations of how cortisol and adrenaline is affected by stress in each one of us uniquely. So for example, the stress type that I call the stress magnet tends to have high cortisol and high adrenaline part of the day or all day long. Whereas the opposite of that would be the blah and blue stress type, and they have low cortisol, low adrenaline, all or part of the day. And then there's the night owl, who is similar to the stress magnet, except their situation is that their cortisol and adrenaline is high in the evening or overnight, so it's often disrupting their sleep. And then there's the 2 that have opposites. So there's the tired and wired that tends to have high adrenaline, low cortisol, and sluggish and stressed that has high cortisol, low adrenaline. So it's actually possible to have opposites like that. And so those are the 5 main stress patterns. And this is, by the way, based on my research and clinical experience over 22 years. I've been measuring humans' cortisol and adrenaline levels, and this is how I identified these patterns.
And how does one figure out your stress type? Why is it so important to know your unique stress type?
Well, it's important to know because the treatment's different. So, a person who is a stress magnet is going to need completely different treatment than a person who's blah and blue. And so, this is
Mm,
why I really want to share this message that it's, to me, it's essential information. Now, you can get the assessment in the book, and the Master Your Stress, Reset Your Health book. There is an assessment that starts you to identify likely what your stress type is. I also have the stress type quiz in my website at drdoni.com, so you can do it there as well. And then, to me, to really know for sure what your stress type is, then you're going to want to do a test where we measure your cortisol and adrenaline levels. So we would measure, and here's the key, is we need to measure cortisol not just one time a day, but we need to measure your cortisol morning, midday, evening, and bedtime so
mm,
that we can see really what is up to all day long. And we need to measure your adrenaline levels in urine. So these tests can be done at home. Cortisol we would measure in urine or saliva at
mm,
4 different times in a day, and adrenaline we would measure in the urine and at one time a day. And this tells us your stress type.
mm. So, we more and more people understand the overall health and well-being benefits of preventative practices. In your new book, you show how to tailor each step of your program for a specific stress type, right? And to allow readers to overcome exhaustion and fatigue, clear up brain fog, stop insomnia, relieve chronic muscle pain and digestive issues, increase energy. Now, is there one exercise that will help alleviate symptoms or a series of best wellness and self-care practices that can help ameliorate these health challenges? Can you explain your CARE method of stress recovery?
Definitely. So once you know your stress type,
Yeah.
then you can start to implement what I call your self-care.
Okay.
This is an acronym. I use it as an acronym. So the C stands for clean eating. So this is all about how to modify your diet in order to help you recover from stress. And then the A stands for adequate sleep. So we want to really optimize your sleep because we do so much stress recovery while we're sleeping. The R is for recovery activities. There's a
Yes.
whole menu of possible recovery activities, everything from taking a couple deep breaths to mindfulness, meditation, yoga, listening to music, spending time with your pet, and getting outside. There's so many options. You don't have to do all of them, but we want to help you identify the ones that work best for you.
Yes.
And then the E is for exercise. So this is one of our best stress recovery tools based on the research. But like with all of our stress recovery tools, we need to also master how to do just the right amount and not too much. Because even something like exercise, it's good for us, but if we overdo it, it's not so good for us. It ends up stressing ourselves out some more.
Okay. So it does, the recovery differs depending on the unique stress type.
It does.
That's what you're saying.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, we're living in unprecedented times with the global COVID-19 pandemic and variants, including Omicron, social unrest, environmental catastrophes. Yet we know with the right wellness and self-care tools, we can reset our lives and forge a new pathway forward. And good health is our most prized possession, generating a positive mindset, confidence, enthusiasm, strength, and joyfulness. This all can trigger a life of optimum achievement. And vibrant health, as you know, doesn't just happen out of luck. One must take those necessary steps to improve their health and well-being. Our philosophy is that true self-care relies on all four pillars of a healthy lifestyle. That's exercise, nutrition, rest, healing, mindfulness, meditation. And when these four pillars are in alignment, we can achieve harmony and happiness equilibrium. What is your daily wellness routine and what self-care tools do you use on a daily basis?
Thank you for asking. I mean, this is the thing is, I encourage anyone listening to just know that you want to dial it in for yourself. Try it out and practice. This is in the book. I talk in the last chapter. We go through how to integrate self-care into your day-to-day routine. And it's not something you might not get it perfect the first time, right? It's not about perfection. It's about, let me just try some of these things that you were just mentioning. How do we maybe we make small dietary changes, or we start to implement a little bit, we try meditation and we go, okay, what is this like for me? What is my best time of day? What is how long should I be meditating? And I would even say to dial this in based on your stress type. Like what amount, maybe the right time of day for meditation for one person is different for another person. So, just know that you want to do your version, and I'm constantly trying out new things for myself. I do tend to do, like, when I wake up in the morning, I do tend to like to do a meditation then, but I also sometimes do a meditation in the evening if I find I really need to help calm my brain down, or even in the middle of the day for that matter, if I need it. And I like to get outdoors right away in the morning. I like to get some sunlight exposure. We know that when we're exposed to light during the day, or especially in the morning, it
Yeah.
gives all the right signals to our body and our brain to
Mm,
know that it's daytime. And it's also important to give exposure to darkness at night so our brain knows it's time to go to sleep. So we can use these tools from nature in a way that helps signal to our bodies how to stay in alignment, how to recover from stress. So those are some of my favorites. I also take care of animals at my house. So I spend time with pets a lot of times in the morning, midday, and evening.
oh,
I tend to do my exercise in the morning. But here's the thing is that I tend to be the blah and blue stress type, by the way. So a lot of what you're
okay.
hearing may be perfect for blah and blue. Like start with little doses. Do
Mm,
do things that help in the morning. Like do your exercise in the morning, but maybe only 10 or 15 minutes. You don't want to overdo it. So exercise will raise cortisol, which your blah and blue needs in the morning, but you don't want to overdo it and exhaust yourself.
mm,
So yeah, you'll find this in the book too, and I'm so
yes.
grateful in the book that I was able to share a lot about my life and my experience and what I do,
Mhm.
just as an example for some of you, not to say that you need to do exactly like me, but just to say, hey, I'd rather you experiment and find what's right for you.
And what does the healing power of wellness, a self care tool for you, mean to you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, to me, I think of like epigenetics, which tells us that, I mean, we have our genetic predispositions, but what we know for sure is that our genetics don't have to be determining our health.
Mm,
There's so much we can do to change the way our genes are expressing. And by doing that, we're changing literally our health currently and in the future. And so it says to me, like, we have so much power in our hands each day to make choices that can really benefit our health into the future.
mm. And you're a great inspiration to us. Who and what inspires you?
Oh gosh, thank you. I mean, I'm so inspired by my patients, first of all. I mean, I have patients who I've been working with for 22 years, and I want to express my gratitude to them again because it's helping them that inspires me to figure this out and be like, okay, how do I help them solve their health issues? And I get into a goal with them like, okay, we want to reverse your autoimmunity. Here's what we're going to do. And we make a strategic plan, and then I'm learning from them, and then they're coming back to me to feel grateful to me, but I'm so grateful to them for
Oh.
inspiring me. So it's beautiful.
And what inspired you to go into this space, into becoming a naturopathic doctor?
I started from a really young age. My father is a pharmacist, and so I grew up around the pharmacy. So I really saw the pharmaceutical industry from a young age.
Mm,
And I was also around my father, who was always teaching me to try to make choices to prevent the need for medications.
mhm.
So we were always around my house in childhood, we were choosing healthy foods. We were spending time outdoors. We were taking vitamins. Like, how do we prevent the need for medications? And so when I got to do my bachelor's degree I was doing a pre-med degree,
Yes.
I said to myself, I want to do a type of medicine that integrates nutrition.
Mm,
And that's when I found out about naturopathic medicine. And so I learned about it from a young age, and I knew immediately this is what I wanted to do because it just was automatic for me to know I want to be preventing health issues and understanding my body so that I could do that.
wow, so important. Amazing, amazing. Well, science-based evidence shows that the more wellness and self-care tools and techniques you have, and the more positive daily habits you embrace, then the more you not only learn about yourself, and what works best for you in your life, but the better life you will live. It's about empowering yourself with the skills to live a happier, healthier, more harmonious life. And I want to share an excerpt from my book, Sonia's Ring, 11 Ways to Heal Your Heart. Physical and spiritual well-being is necessary for life and growth. It is what helps to keep us alive, maintains and nourishes love, faith, hope, perseverance, compassion, and kindness. All of this is available to you. So reach out and grab what is yours. Is there any particular message that you would like to make sure we communicate with our global audience?
That's so beautiful. Thank you for reading that. And it reminds me in the Master Your Stress book, I have a whole chapter on spirituality, because yes, I'm emphasizing the physical, what's happening in our physical body, but it's also so important what's happening on our emotional connection with ourselves and our spiritual connection, because ultimately that's when we're going to experience the true healing that we're going for. And so I completely agree with you that it's sometimes, I think, when we're stressed, under stress, that's when we kind of lose ourselves. We forget who we really are. We're
Yes.
so caught up in the stress of the moment. And so just wanting to help people to know that it's possible to find yourself again, find who you are really, the one who's living in this human vessel, and to understand your purpose. What is it that's really your purpose and that's your passion in this life, and to help you connect with that, and to help your human body to be as healthy as possible so that you can live into that passion and purpose.
Yeah, yeah, and to do the work prior to the, traumatic event or something happens, prior to the stressful event. I love that you say in your book that you can prepare for these stresses, right?
Well, and especially once we work through the protocol and we get the cortisol levels to optimal. See, this is the thing, is knowing your stress type just helps you know what it looks like when you're under a lot of stress.
Yeah,
Then our goal is, how do we help you optimize your cortisol and adrenaline so that you can be in this resilient state where, yeah, now when stress happens, you're like, oh, I know what to do. I have my self-care routine. I know which herbs and nutrients are going to help me to stay on balance even when stress comes along. And so that's my goal for all of you.
want to read a passage from your book? I would love that.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
The thing is that I even want to just begin at the beginning, because I
Sure.
want, when I wrote this, I felt like I want to really connect with how a person's feeling when they choose to pick up this book. And so
Okay.
I say, are you feeling uncomfortable in your body and overwhelmed in your life? Like, I just to hear, because so much of the time we say how are you to each other, but are we really
Asking.
answering?
Yeah,
Yeah,
or answering.
like asking or answering, like, how really are you? Are you
Yeah.
completely feeling uncomfortable, meaning in pain, and just like, what
Right.
is this body I'm living in, and overwhelmed with your life? Then you're in the right place. Likely you know what it's like to get caught up in stress mode.
Mm,
The constant and pervasive sense of low grade panic, irritability, fatigue, frustration, the endless loops of self criticism that tell us we always need to earn more, be more, do more, and succeed more. Many of us have acknowledged with a certain amount of resignation that we are burned out. We accept the physical signs of headaches, tension, brain fog, anxiety, indigestion as inevitable side effects of being a high achiever, and we publicly wear being so busy as a badge of honor, while suffering silently and privately, afraid to look like the weak link who can't handle the demands of our job or life.
mm.
But what if I told you that it's not that simple? My research and experience with patients have shown me that everyone has a unique stress type and a unique way to master their stress. So that's just my message of, like, you're
Yes.
unique, and
Yeah.
there's a way to master your stress and recover from it.
Thank you for joining us on Tita Talks. Thank you for discussing and sharing your beautiful book and talking about the healing power of wellness, a self-care tool for you. Thank you so much, Dr. Doni.
Thank you, Tita.
Mhm.